Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with Suzanne Bandick, one of my favorite humans and just, I believe, a fan favorite and definitely our client favorite for sure. Today, we're going to talk about easy $1 million cleaning business mindset. Suzanne's got 8 points she wants to go over, so I'm going to try and keep my part brief, but I do want to set the stage. When I hear easy, and not that this is marketing, we're trying to coach here, but when I hear easy, certainly in marketing and even in coaching, sometimes I get a little red flaggy. So I'm excited to hear, and I just stick with me. I'm not saying you have to believe everything, but just give us a moment to just hear it out. Because 9 times out of 10, when I hear easy of something that's not particularly easy, often it's a red flag. I think I know where Suzanne's going. So I'm like, just hear us out. And then $1 million cleaning business mindset. I want to encourage you also, for those of you like, I want the tactical stuff. This isn't blah, blah, blah. I got to encourage you. I promise. Said this 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,000 more. Knowing what to do. There's really only 2 things in a business: knowing what to do and doing it. Right? Like if I want to lose weight, I have to know what to eat or not eat and how to move my body or not move my body. And then I have to do it. And there's billions of dollars of money spent on the how to do that. And it's really it's the really getting to do it, right? Same thing with business. A lot of times people will spend money on what to do, which is super important, but they won't do what they need to do. And that's where the mindset comes in. So for those of you that have I don't want to say red flag, but I just want the more tactical stuff. It's not going to be easy and there's no such thing. And mindset's not important. Just tell me what to do and how to do it. I promise you, the reason we have now 3 people that on our team that help our clients with their beliefs system is I found I can teach most folks, like none of you guys are too dumb to understand how to work business. The tactical part's pretty blocking and tackling, right? But the why can't, and here's why, and I'm scared, and the difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it is really what gets people stuck. So I want to encourage you. Easy $1 million cleaning business mindset. See if we can actually fulfill. Janelle's got 8 ways that we can make this happen. And I've got 8 complaints as to why it won't, because I'm just a pain in the neck. So I promise all of you naysayers out there, I'll be your voice, and Suzanne will rock all of our worlds.
Okay, Mike, just 2 slight corrections. I'm Suzanne, not Janelle.
God bless America. And like I said, we just heard that. So My apologies. My favorite person whose name I haven't bothered to memorize. Big virtual hug, Janelle. Thank you for putting up with my, I'm getting old, kids, so my apologies in advance.
And second, not necessarily all of these are so easy.
Fair. So we do, yeah, well, let's dive into it. We'll kind of talk about what's easy and what's not easy. And what I always think is most of everything we're going to coach is going to be comparatively easy. So like, well, that's not easy at all. It's like, well, easier than the alternative of not doing it. That, because I think sometimes with any change, we're like, well, that's scary. I don't want to do that. It's like, okay, well, there's a cost to that change. It could be scary or hard, but let's look at the cost of doing nothing. And and if you compare them, it's like, so I'll give you either easy $1 million cleaning business mindset or easier. So the easier, I could almost guarantee. Easy is kind of up to you to decide what you define as easy.
Okay. And I think what will help with the ease is 2 things: commitment and focus. Until you're committed to actually make something happen, it's very hard to do things.
I think marriage is a great picture of that. Is it easy to be married to my wife sometimes? No. Is it easy to be married to me most of the time? Absolutely not. I get her name right most of the time, though. Suzanne/Janelle. But because I love her so much and I'm so committed to it, it often does feel easy, right? So it's, if I didn't have the commitment and the focus, right? If I was like, I'm going to date 1,000 women and I'm mildly interested in all of them, it would be hard to be a good mate to any of them. But because I've got massive commitment and focus, things that would otherwise be hard are quite easy when it comes to her, because I'm like, I'm really motivated to do that. Same thing comes with our business. Good thing is we've got a lot of the commitment, but sometimes we miss on the focus. So we'll dive into that.
Okay. So these are things that will actually, as Mike, as you mentioned, help us in every area of our life. But we're going to focus it here specifically on $1 million business owner mindset, but it will help with everything. And what I want to encourage everybody before you say, not interested, tune this out, turn on to the next podcast, is I want to encourage you that these are 8 things that are very different. And you may have heard them before, but let's just walk through and talk about them and see which ones you can commit to and fit into your life so you can actually make the changes that you want.
Yeah, it's funny. We use an example of the fat guy or gal who knows everything about eating healthy, but hasn't done it. And when you're like, hey, here's what you got to do. Like, I know all that. It's like, great, but you're not getting the result that you want. So certainly if you start hearing the same thing over and over and you're like, I don't need that. It's like, well, are you getting the result that you want? And if you're not doing these 8 things and you are getting the result that you want, definitely go on to the next podcast. Ignore all, just keep double down on what you're doing. Call us when it's not. But if you're not doing these 8 things and you heard them before, but you're not getting the results that you want, this might be an opportunity to be like, maybe I heard it in a different way. And really for me, that's what a lot of coaching is not very little of it's for me because I invest in coaching myself is, oh my gosh, that's a completely new concept. Thank you. I'm going to go do that immediately. I knew I needed to do that, but I didn't understand it in a way that I felt was too much. It was too scary. So I did nothing. But now that you said it, that clicked and I get it. And I think I can actually take a step forward. So the goal for these 8 things is, I'm guessing 0 to 2 or 3 will be new. You're like, I hadn't thought of that. That's helpful. But ideally, even if there are things that you'd heard before, but weren't willing or able to take any action, if you're like, oh, that now makes sense and it clicks and you can do something different, maybe it's the 39th, maybe it's the 11th time you hear something. Hopefully this will be the time on at least one where you're like, got it. I'm going to do something different now.
Okay, so let's start with number 1. Create a $1 million business owner identity. Okay, we all walk around identifying as someone or something. This is who we are. And in your identity, let's talk about strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes we'll say, I'm good at this. I'm not good at that. Okay. I'm good at working with people. I'm not good at the business and the numbers. And the strengths, when you create your business owner identity and you look at your strengths and your weaknesses, I'm going to suggest you focus on your strengths so that you can utilize that. That's the easiest way to grow. Focus on your strengths. And sometimes you'll hear people say, oh, and now you really have to knuckle down and study and learn all your weaknesses. If you're not good at numbers, you better start taking accounting courses. And I'm going to say, wait a minute. If you focus on your strengths and you shore yourself up with other people who can cover your weaknesses, a lot of times you'll get to success faster. So that's number 1. Comments, Mike?
Couldn't agree more. Only caveat I would send is, I think a lot of what we say about our weaknesses is not the truth. And those are the insidious half-truths are the worst, right? Because if it's a flat out lie, we can't, I'm illiterate. Well, that's just not true. I struggle reading and writing, or I don't read or write as quickly as other people. Okay, that may be true. So we'll say things like I'm bad at technology or I'm not good at sales. And for each of them, there needs to be a minimum standard. So couldn't agree more with Suzanne. If I'm not quote unquote good at sales, which may or may not be true, so we have to even kind of go, is that the truth? Go, all right. I have to at some place be able to get some person to take some action, right? Like, am I married? Okay, well, I've sold one person one pretty big thing at one point, right? Do I have kids? Have they ever cleaned their room or done anything I've asked them to do? So you can't just be like, I can't communicate with the other humans and no one ever does anything I want based on our conversation. Like, well, that's not enough. But if you're like, I'm not a quote unquote salesperson, I'm not great at this, fine. That's fine. Can you talk to other humans and articulate things? And sometimes they go, that makes sense. I will take that action. Cool. We've got it covered. Do you need to be the best person in sales? No, but do you have to be able to speak English or speak the language that they're speaking in a way that makes them go, I understand. And maybe I'll take, cool, we're good enough. Same with technology. I'm not good at tech. Do you need to be able to code websites in 6 different languages? No. Do you need to be able to check your email? Do you need to be able to maybe read a spreadsheet or write a document online? Probably a good idea. That's it. So I think sometimes we kind of we go too far one way or another. Like, I'm no good at tech, so I need to be the best at tech, or numbers. Do you need to be a CPA or understand taxes? Or also, no. Do you need to be able to understand this much money came in and this much money went out? Here's what's left over, and have some idea of what money went out and why? Yeah. And most people are like, well, I know that, Mike. I'm just not good at account. Oh, fine. So I just want to encourage you. You don't have to be the best at something. You just need a minimum standard. And that minimum standard is typically way lower than you think. And you're already competent and you've already checked about. You're like, yeah, I can read email, Mike. Yeah, I know how to type on a computer and have the word show up on my screen. Like, good, we're probably good enough. So when we say I'm not good at tech, what we're really saying is there's a bunch of very specific tasks that $20 an hour people can do that I don't do. It's like, yeah, that's fine. But we act like, I don't know how to turn on a computer. And it's like, all right, can you get on Zoom? Are you listening to this podcast or are you watching this on a computer or phone device? If the answer is yes, you're probably good with the tech. So just give yourself permission. You don't have to be an expert, and the minimum standard you need to meet, you probably have already met.
Perfect. Mike has led us perfectly into point number 2. Clear your blocks. Okay, so our blocks, if our business is we're sitting in our Ferrari, or pick your car of choice. We're sitting in this $1 million vehicle and we're ready to move forward. But all of a sudden we realize my brakes are on. We can't go anywhere with the brakes on. And the brakes are our blocks. The brakes are when our the little voice in our head goes, yeah, but. Yeah, but Mike, what did you say? Yeah, but I'm not good at technology. Yeah, but I'm not good at math. Yeah, but I'm shy. Yeah, but I've never had success before. These are all the things that are going to hold us back from all our successes in life, let alone the $1 million business goal. Okay, so we're going to cover that on another podcast, or we have covered it on podcasts. But one of the little notations I want to make is to realize, write down, these are the little things that I'm saying that I'm not good enough at. And the quickie version that I'm going to give you to deal with those is think to yourself along the lines of what Mike just said. Think about, is it really true? Can I come up with a time when it was okay? Right? So I'm not good at tech. Yeah, but I can use at least basically my cell phone. Yeah, but I could learn a little bit. Yeah, but I know who I could ask questions of. Or just come up with the thought that I can get better. I'm getting better. I know some. And as soon as you do that, you're starting to release the brake. Because the brake hard on is like, nope, can't do it. When you start to say, oh, I'm not so bad, maybe I can do a little bit, your foot starts to come off the brakes so you can move forward.
One of my favorite questions to ask myself, and I should probably ask my clients more often, I bet you do a better job at this than I do, Suzanne, is it really true that? That's, you mentioned it, and I just wanted to emphasize when people go, again, yeah, but. And it's okay to go, usually the yeah, but is okay. The conclusion we draw is where you need to go. Is that really true? I'm not good at technology. Okay. So I'll never be good at business. Hold on. Is that really true? I'm not very sociable, so I can never have $1 million business. So it's okay to say I'm not very sociable. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. Depends on how you define sociable. That's the insidious part, is we say a potentially true thing that sounds reasonable, and then we tag on a wildly untrue thing. But because we prefaced it by if you just said I can never have $1 million business, it's pretty easy. People go, is that really the truth? But when you say I'm not very good at sales, therefore I can never have $1 million business, it's like, well, you probably won't have $1 million sales training business. I'll give you that. But are you trying to start a sales? No, I'm trying to start a cleaning business. Okay. So have you ever seen a cleaning business where they hire sales? Yeah. Anyway, that just take away that gem of, is it really true that? And not on the first part. Is it really true that you're bad at tech? Yes, I'm really bad at tech. Cool. Is it really true that because you're bad at tech, you can never have your dreams? So make sure you ask it all the way down, not just on the first part that may be true. Ask it to the conclusion that you've drawn that is likely not true, and almost certainly not helpful. Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, and we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
Okay, number 3, think beyond. Write this down, please. Think beyond. That means go beyond where you currently are. If you focus on where you're at, yes, I don't have $1 million cleaning business. I'm having trouble paying my bills. What, we're talking about $1 million cleaning business? I can't pay this bill. That's where you're at. I would encourage you to think beyond what you perceive as your reality right now. So we need to start thinking about and creating a new reality of possibility. But what about when I can pay all these bills? What about when this is easier? And sometimes too, we have a certain amount of revenue. We've talked about this before in our thermostat, that we can only reach a certain level of revenue. We're at 30,000. I can't get beyond 30,000. Well, start thinking about when you're at 50,000. Start creating the think beyond, and I'll tell you what that does. That makes the ups and downs less. So when something major happens, like you lose a cleaner, or there's a fight with your cleaners and you have to clean it up, or you lose a big customer, if you focus on the now, that's a really big thing. However, if you focus on a future where your business is successful and you're $1 million business owner, all of a sudden the thing that happened doesn't have to be so big. You could just say, well, that's something that it's a speed bump that I go to on my way to success. No worries. I lost that customer. I don't have that cleaner. I can get more.
It's funny, and I can prove what Suzanne's saying just fairly easily. 2 ways. One, if you limit it to business, because obviously personal life, if we've lost a family, there's things that do stick with us for life. In business, having been in business about 30 years, I can't really think of a single, there was times in my business where I was like, that was a tough time. But I can't think of a single person who quit or moment that if he'd asked me at the time, I would have said, oh my God, this is it. This is pivot. I'll never, blah, blah. And I'm not saying from 30 years ago, even from 2 years ago, even from 1 year, there's just everything in the moment feels like an 8 to 10 or can feel like an 8 to 10. When you look back on it, you're like, I can't even remember it. Like if someone asked you what the thing is, you're like, when did that happen? You're like this, and you're like, oh God, I forgot. The thing that we think is going to just be devastating. Looking back, oftentimes we don't even recall it. So that's one. 2, every person that's at your goal, or the vast majority that's reached your goal, has been where you're at right now, right? The propensity for very wealthy people to have been bankrupt is like 50%. And the ones that didn't go bankrupt probably has a very, very lean time. So everybody, if it's just Elon almost went bankrupt, like pick a name. I think Trump has been bankrupt. I'm just using people, you can like them or not like them, but just people that we all agree are financially successful, regardless of what you think otherwise. Both have their times, right? And if you just look, and then they've all started with, I was young, I was broke, I was old, I was broke, and I came back from that. So not only if you look at 10 years past, 5 years past, last couple of years, things that you thought were huge, you look and you're like, it wasn't a big deal. And you also look at people that are where you want to be, and they also probably felt how you feel now. They didn't know I was going to be successful. They thought they were going to try and whatever, but they had the same fears that you have. So if the path to getting the result that you want as led by other people is kind of having that fear and just going, well, I'm going to have to just go through it either way, then that's the path that you take, right? We don't use it as an excuse, because you're like, well, if, every person that got where I want to be had these fears, then I'm going to just have to have these fears. That's part of, if I didn't have those fears, that would probably be a red flag. I don't think I've ever met an entrepreneur that's wildly successful. It's like, knew it all the time, never doubted, never had nothing ever went wrong.
It never went wrong.
Yeah. I never wobbled. I was just straight up top to bottom. Don, you need to
Yes.
fire, gal. Yeah. All right. We're going too far. We got too many points. Let's keep this train rolling, lady.
Okay. I thought of other things I wanted to say, but we'll move on. Number 4, focus on the upside. Okay. There is always maybe this ties in a little bit to what you were saying, Mike. Something happens and you can let it mean everything. And when you do, it will cause you to put your brakes on. I can't possibly go any further. This happened. However, there's always an upside to everything. What is the good in this and how does it serve me? And when you get really good at finding the good in whatever happens, you will become more and more successful and things will happen more and more easily because it just becomes a way of thinking.
Let me give you the training wheels version of that question. For those of you that are just like, nothing's good, they're, went immediately to death and destruction, whatever. What could be good in the situation and what could turn out, start there. Like, it's better to just go, what is good and what is the benefits to me? But if we're not ready there, show what could be good out of this if it was possible, and what benefits could accrue out of this. And I will say, of the pivotal moments in my life that I do look back on from a business standpoint, yeah, oftentimes they're painful. And at the time, like, I didn't like that. But if I could opt out of them now and then not get it's like, you got to build the muscle, which is tearing down the muscle to get the bigger muscle, right? And a lot of times we're building the muscle at $500,000 in revenue, $1 million in revenue. We don't know we need to get to 2 million, but we do. And if we don't have that, like astronauts in space lose bone density, there's no gravity, there's nothing to hold them down. So they can't ever grow, right? So we need that gravity, and you got to get punched in the mouth to know how to get back from getting punched in the mouth. And at the time, getting punched in the mouth does not feel great. I'm not saying opt into that, but more often than not, when you look back and are successful, like that seemingly small decision, how I responded to that kick in the gut, really stupid stuff. I'm 51. I wrestled when I was 14, 15, 16, and we went through grueling practices. I don't know, was that 30, 40 years ago? Still benefit from that today, just of the grit that we built from that, learning how to work and how to do stuff that other people wouldn't do. So at the time, I was just a dumb 15-year-old kid going, why do they make it 110 in here? Why can't we relax? Why is the coach so mean? Why? And then looking back, it's like, oh my gosh, that, the pain I got there paid off forever and ever.
Perfect lead into number 5, Mike.
Let's do it.
Okay. Number 5 is you do the things others are not willing to do.
That's a writer downer, kids. If you want to get the things that other people don't have, you got to do the things that they won't do. Like, that is, write it down, circle it. Anyone that argues with that don't know nothing about that. That's such a truth. Go ahead.
Right. And if you, again, this ties into focusing on where you do desire to be, not what you think is your reality now. If you're focused on where you want to be, it helps create your new identity. It ties in all of these things. So do you need to get up a little earlier in the morning? Do you need to do a morning routine where you write down gratitudes? Do you need to do price increases? Do you need to fire one of those employees that you know is just wreaking havoc in your business, but you haven't been willing to do it? Do the things others are not willing to do. You'll skyrocket your success.
I love that. Beautiful. I love it. Nothing to add. Continue. So
perfect. Good. Number 6, focus on your core values. We talk a lot about this in the program. Mike has many podcasts on it. Your core values will help you make every decision you need to make. Okay, so a core values could be work hard and help out. Look at your team. Are they demonstrating your core values? If not, it makes it very easy to make decisions on your business and with your clients. Follow your core values all the way to success.
Let me give you one caveat where I see people make this mistake. Is probably 80% of the mistake people make with core values. They go for aspirational, not actual. So they'll come into a cleaning business and go detail oriented, always do a good job, put the customer first, do great work. And it's like, yeah, those are all fine. I'm not saying you should, those are all values, but your core values are who you are when you're at dinner with your kids before you bought a cleaning company, and who you will be 5 years from now out with your friends after you sold this company. So for us, it's have fun, make money, be real, and help out. And that was when I had my car dealership, my construction company, this coaching company, every company in between, since I discovered them, not decided. I don't get to decide on my core values. I just get to discover them. That's who it's been. So the reality is I can tell Suzanne, I can't, I've got 9 names for you, lady. Suzanne, we're all about customer service and loving the customer and putting them first and doing great work. And that's what we're about. But she's just going to watch me because that's how humans are. And if she sees that it's something I kind of like but don't always do, she's going to know I'm full of crap. And then we're just not going to be able to connect and she's not going to trust me. But if I'm like, I always have fun, or not always, but my default is to have fun, make money, be real, and help out. And that's just who I am all the time. I don't even have to, because people are like, oh, it's good on the core values. I told everyone, I sent in an email and I put it on our business card. So we're good there. And it's like, no, these are who you are all the time, every day. So the reason you want them to be who you actually are, so you don't have to act because no one's that good of an actor, right? So you just got to get it. And then the cool thing is you'll attract people that have those values. So I don't have to, I do look for the values, but I just know if I'm show up who I am, Suzanne's either going to vibe with me if we connect at a core value level, or she's going to be off-put or perturbed or not feel comfortable with me if we don't. So just want to be encouraging. And if it's this fake set of values that she vibes with, it's like, well, is it her fake values vibing with my fake value? Like, it's just never going to work. Whereas if this is who I am, she can like me or not like me. And as a customer, as an employee, I could go on forever, but that's a big one. Just make sure it's actual core values, not aspirational.
7, create or follow a system. You can't keep recreating things. You can't keep wondering what to do. Create or follow the system. It will help you all the way to success, and it makes every decision easier once again.
Super tactical, right? Find a good system that works. If 1 + 1 = 2 for that guy, it'll probably equal 1 + 1 = 2 for you. You just got to do the same thing. Well said.
And number 8 is prioritize. Please focus on the things that matter. What are the revenue generating activities? What is the thing that has the power to make you grow? So to do this, I suggest we all make our lists. These are the things I need to do, and pull out the things that are that you feel will really make the difference, rather than all the little things that we get caught up on, we fill our day with. And then at the end of the day, we say, what did I do? Did anything really matter to get you to the $1 million business owner level?
You could argue. Sorry, go ahead.
That was it. Ta-da.
Oh, ta-da. I was like, what? You could argue that as a business owner, our only job is to prioritize, make sure that us and our team is focusing on the number one constraint holding our business back. Like if that's all you did as a business owner is correctly identify the number one constraint and focus your efforts and your team effort on that until it's solved, and then a new number one constraint would appear. That's 80 to 100% of your job. So that prioritization is really what we get paid for as business owner, is prioritizing, and systems are just how to solve the things that we're prioritizing. All right. Just to wrap, because you did so good, could you just run through the 8 again so everyone's just got a nice summary, and then we'll sign off?
1, create a $1 million business owner identity. 2, clear your blocks. 3, think beyond. 4, focus on the upside. 5, do the things others are not willing to do. 6, focus on your core values. 7, create or follow the system. And 8, prioritize the things that matter. And what should be my little tagline is, it's not about working harder. It's about thinking differently.
Yeah, hopefully none of those things sounded hard. They just sounded kind of grown up. So the 2 things I'll leave you with is, I'd probably start with number 8 as number 1, because the first thing we need is prioritize, right? You can even prioritize this list of 8 things of what you need to work on. And 2, it would be unreasonable for you to do all, I guess really I'm saying the same thing. If you start with 8, don't try and do everything all at once right now. You're going to struggle with that. Everyone would. Pick the 1 or 2 things that you think will have the most leverage. Even if you're like, I spent 20 minutes just to get one takeaway. It's like, I've spent 2 days in an event to get one takeaway. If it's a big enough takeaway, it's a great return on your investment. So it's okay to take 7 of those things and put them on your to-don't list. And just pick the one you're like, this is the thing I'm going to change today. So start with the prioritization. And so like I said, be 2. 1 is prioritize. 2 is pick the one that you're like, yeah, that made sense. I heard in a way today that I hadn't heard, or that makes sense or felt eminently doable. And feel free to reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook group. Let us know how you're doing. Email us, let us know. And if you need more help than that, feel free to reach out. Appreciate you. Talk soon. See you. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it, and we sure appreciate your time and attention.